course may be aware, I'm rather fond of wine and passionate about Bristol independence, so I've come out to Dunleavy Vineyards to talk to Ingrid Bates. Hello Ingrid.
Hi Natalie.
Now tell me what you do here.
Well, this is my vineyard basically, so I manage the vineyard, I do all the labour, all the pruning, all the grass mowing, all that sort of thing, and then I sell the wine as the finished product as well at the end of it all.
How amazing. How did you get into growing grapes? I mean, is that something you grew up thinking, I want to make wine when I grow up?
No, I was quite sort of academic really, I suppose, when I was back at school and university and things like that, and I started working, I worked actually at the BBC in Bristol for a couple of years, and I quite like the idea of just working outdoors instead, and I ended up doing some gardening at Thornbury Castle, and they've got a small vineyard, and I just completely sort of randomly ended up looking after that vineyard, and I really enjoyed it. And after a few years I just thought I'd really like to do it for myself, so I started saving up some money and started planning my own vineyard basically.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
Really
I know.
Nice.
Yeah, quite a lot of work involved looking back, but I think at the time you just kind of feel quite driven to do something.
Yeah, well let's have a little walk around, shall we, and you can tell me a bit more about what you do.
Yep, okay, brilliant.
Stroll off that way, I think. So you planted up your first vineyard. How did you choose what kind of grapes you were going to grow?
Yeah, it was quite a tricky decision based on several things, but obviously the main thing is what kind of wine you want to produce at the end of it. And obviously I tried quite a few different English wines, and I just really love the rosés. And quite a few people were using Pinot Noir to make a rosé, and I thought, wow, I'd love to grow Pinot Noir. And that was kind of why I chose Pinot Noir. But
from my experience, Pinot Noir is normally red. That's probably my favourite red, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's a red grape. The colour in the wine comes from the skin, so in theory you could press red grapes and get a white wine, but yeah, so the colour comes from leaving the skins in contact with the juice afterwards.
So you're making a rosé Pinot Noir?
Yeah.
And are they all Pinot Noir grapes here?
No, the vineyard's a sort of big rectangular block. 2/3 of it are Pinot Noir, and then the other third is a variety called Seyval, which at the moment they're quite young plants. The idea is that Seyval will hopefully use that to produce a sparkling wine in the future. We haven't quite decided yet whether that will be a rosé or a white.
Oh, fantastic. And now, how long did it take until you could actually start producing enough grapes to make your first wine?
Yeah, it takes quite a long time. It's not like a conventional business where you just start up and straight away you're kind of selling and earning money.
Yeah.
It takes about 3, sometimes even 4 years before you can harvest the grapes, so it's quite a long build-up.
Quite an investment, isn't it then?
Yeah, if you can spread the investment out over several years, so you can, you know, the first year you get the ground ready, you put the plants in, and you don't have to get the posts straight away, which are one of the most expensive things, because you can see they're all metal here.
Yeah.
You can imagine metal's quite an expensive thing to buy in large amounts. But so you can spread those things out, and basically there's ways of doing it if you are on a tighter budget like I was.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of do the best you can really.
Yeah. So what was it like for you the first time that you had sort of how would you call it, a harvest of grapes that you could actually make into wine?
Yeah, it was quite a relief because I think it was 2012, which it was just unlucky. It was one of the worst summers we'd ever had in this country for growing anything. A lot of growers were saying that. But the wine was amazing at the end of it, and then last summer was our third harvest even, and but the subsequent two have been really great summers, and we've had really big crops, and yeah, it's been really good fun.
Oh, exciting. Well, maybe we should come back out here in the summer, and maybe even come back when you pick them, so you get some help from your volunteers and friends, don't you?
Yeah, it's basically just family and friends, and yeah, last year we managed to get about 30 people came down on the day. It all depends. You never know who's going to turn up on the last minute, because if it's raining, obviously people aren't so keen.
Yeah.
But no, it was brilliant. We had a great turnout, and then the more people there are, the more fun it is, because you just get the whole lot picked in a couple of hours, and everyone can just have a rest. Yeah. So no, it's good.
So Ingrid, we're going to catch up with you at Bordeaux Quay next week, aren't we? And that'll be on the Source as well next Tuesday. So we're going to be looking at your tasting event.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, there's often big trade tasting events in London, and we just decided it'd be great to have one in Bristol, because there's a lot of independent restaurants and cafes and shops and things, and there's also a lot of small vineyards around the area, and it'd be great just for everyone to become aware of who's growing out there and which wines they're producing.
Yeah. And at Dunleavy exhibiting, are you going to have your Pinot Noir there for tasting?
Yeah, we've just released our latest release, came out a few weeks ago, and we started selling it already, so yeah, we'll be there.
People get it online if they don't tune in next week?
Yeah, we've got a website, dunleavyvineyards.co.uk, and we're on Twitter and Facebook, and yeah, I deliver around Bristol for free, so if very easy to get hold of.
Oh, super. Well, thank you for showing me around the vineyard here. It's absolutely lovely. And maybe come back in the summer. But I'll see you next week at Bordeaux Quay.
Yeah, see you next week.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Fantastic.